He can hardly believe what he is seeing in this new world. The welcome message, "Welcome to Mobile Lord," appears in front of him. Loading bars and system messages keep appearing, syncing information. Verification process completes, and synchronization is done. He still can't grasp what just happened to him in this strange place. System rewards pop up showing buffs and upgrade tickets he just received. Ad removal and unlimited growth buffs are shown granted to him instantly. Night Training Center and equipment gacha tickets appear in his inventory UI. A message suggests spending money to overcome challenges in the game. He curses silently the intrusive in-app purchase system, confusing him. He asks for patience, hoping the situation will become clearer soon. Glowing system text fades but leaves the promise of challenge ahead. He quietly takes a breath, preparing for whatever comes next in this world. He opens his eyes, ready to engage fully with the challenges ahead now. His body feels new strength, fueled by the upgrades he's just obtained. Digital world around him quiets as his new journey starts in earnest. He steps forward, eyes locked on the unknown waiting ahead for him. His Mobile Lord adventure begins, filled with opportunity and risk. The family pauses as Isabel commands Cyan to go to Rubin Estate tomorrow. Isabel orders Cyan to leave for Rubin Estate tomorrow, shocking everyone present. Isabel asks if Cyan heard her clearly, her stare steady and unyielding. Cyan challenges Isabel, questioning if she is pretending not to hear him. Isabel repeats her order. Cyan must go to the Rubin Estate starting tomorrow. Everyone gasps, shocked. The Rubin Estate is a cursed place of death and exile. The Rubin Estate borders the cursed forest of darkness, plagued by magical beasts. Despite its title, the Rubin Estate is a place of exile, death, and forgotten souls. The Elantour head uses Rubin to exile rivals and unwanted vassals ruthlessly. Cyan's family sees him as a scoundrel and bastard with no place in the lineage. Roswell and Nathan mock Cyan, ignoring his pain and family rejection. Cyan accepts his fate silently, powerlessly resigned to the family's cruelty. Rugged mountainous path appears as a carriage struggles forward through rough terrain. The coachman pushes the horses up the mountainside, grim determination shown. Inside the cramped carriage, an old veteran and a young man occupy the small space. The coachman furtively studies the passengers, embarrassed by their noble presence. The old man sharply questions the coachman's attitude with piercing eyes. The coachman stammers an apology, still uneasy under the old man's cold gaze. The carriage stops as horses refuse to continue the rough path. Hans explains the carriage stops because the horses sense danger ahead. MC reassures Hans, insisting there is no need to rush the journey ahead. MC gives a heavy pouch to Hans to pay the coachman extra fare unexpectedly. Hans questions the unexpected amount of money and warns MC it's excessive. The coachman accepts the pouch with gratitude, overwhelmed by MC's generosity. Coachman nervously tells Hans about a monster he encountered on their route. The coachman describes the monster pacing near a cave but strangely not attacking. Hans expresses disbelief about a monster showing fear and not attacking humans. Ian and Hans continue journey deeper into the ominous territory of Rubin. The ruined and foggy landscape confirms Rubin is a forsaken territory. Ian questions if any people still inhabit the desolate Rubin ruins. Hans leads the way inside a seemingly abandoned, ruined private house. C quietly opens the creaking door of the ruined house, alert and cautious. Through the door crack, MC sees a red glowing figure with blood dripping nearby. An intense murderous intent explodes suddenly, breaking the haunting silence. MC braces for the violent attack, realizing the danger of this cursed place. Goblin shrieks before Cyan, a weak monster in the Forest of Darkness. The Forest of Darkness monsters are enhanced by magical energy called overdrive. Hans shouts to Cyan to run while he prepares to fight the goblin horde. Cyan freezes, torn between survival and abandoning Hans to the goblins. Cyan decides not to run, ready to face the goblins despite the danger. Cyan taunts the goblins to draw their attention away from Hans. The goblin horde, mad with rage, fixates their attention on Cyan. Cyan runs desperately, muscles burning, as the goblins chase him relentlessly. Goblins close in, their screams piercing the night as Cyan pushes forward. Cyan spots a distant cave rumored to repel monsters and heads toward it. He doubts the cave's safety but has no choice but to risk it now. A goblin attacks from behind, piercing Cyan's back with a sharp claw. Wounded, Cyan clutches his pain and races toward the cave's refuge. Suddenly, a warning voice echoes, then a devastating light destroys the goblins. Surviving goblins at the cave entrance tremble, held back by unknown power. A cold mechanical voice scans Cyan, noting his disqualified status but hesitates. System searches for an administrator, failing to find one to respond to his presence. Cyan feels exposed and vulnerable as the presence inspects him completely. Finally, the voice acknowledges Cyan as suitable before the cave violently trembles. The cave begins collapsing as Cyan loses balance and falls to the ground. Ian wakes from a dream of his late mother, haunted but determined. He staggers to his feet, his body scratched and aching from the fall. He notices faint light ahead and moves cautiously toward it inside the cave. He finds a wide chamber with an altar, glowing light shining on an object. The glowing object transforms letters into a readable word, smartphone. Light flows into his hand as the device powers on with a soft notification tone. The device displays a message measuring causality for a new manager. Presses install for a system called Mobile Lord with cautious curiosity. The system greets him and loads a map showing a desolated, burning land. A strange voice narrates a demon invasion from 1,000 years ago. He skips the lengthy story and a tutorial quest notification appears. Tutorial quest tasks him to defend Reuben territory from monsters. Kian wonders how the device knows he is the Lord of Reuben territory. He recalls the vanished heroes called Arnais and the cave's voice, accepts he is the new manager and adopts a calm resolve to proceed. He knows goblins remain outside, uncertain how to face them without help. He debates waiting for Hans, aware even Hans might struggle with goblin numbers. Suddenly, he receives a new notification offering a discounted beginner package. The package offers an S-class equipment set, purchasable once by lords. A second alert advises paying if stuck, leaving Kian doubtful and wary. He awakens slowly inside the dark cave, staring blankly at his glowing screen. He reads a mysterious notification for a beginner's growth support package with S-rank gear. He wonders about the meaning of P2W and realizes it might mean spending gold. Counts his gold coins and realizes he has enough funds to buy the package. He decides to risk the money, pressing the purchase button to test the mysterious device. Gold coins vanish from his pouch while a glowing cluster of light appears before him. The light fades, revealing a gleaming S-rank sword and armor lying before him. He equips the sword and armor, preparing to leave the cave and test their power. He cautiously exits the cave, wary of goblins but finds the forest quiet this time. Relieved the goblins are gone, he breathes out and readies himself to move forward. Suddenly, goblins ambush him from the bushes, their red eyes glowing with menace. He swings his sword instinctively at the first goblin rushing to attack him. His blade cuts clean through the goblin, splitting it in half with ease. The surrounding goblins recoil in shock, fear flashing across their grotesque faces. He charges forward, confident now that the S-rank gear grants him great power. Hans defeats the last goblin with a powerful blow, panting from the fight. Hans regrets missing Sion's path and rushes toward the cave to find his master. He smells blood near the cave and fears the worst for his young master's safety. Hans finds Sion alive and awake, who greets him as if nothing is wrong. Hans stares in disbelief at the pile of freshly dead goblins before him. Killian reveals his new armor and sword, showing a metallic sound from his chest. A cheerful fanfare sounds from Killian's chest as the tutorial quest clears. System notifications update as Killian's estate management system slowly loads. Killian suggests they discuss the details while walking back to the Reuben estate. Hans questions the true nature of Killian's artifact and its incredible power. Killian and Hans discuss the rarity and legend behind artifacts left by Arnais. Hans doubts the situation yet admits an artifact could explain Killian's power. They talk openly with trust about secrets and the artifact's importance. Killian expresses boredom amid danger while Hans worries about Monster's absence. Hans warns Killian about the power of spirit word magic and looming danger. Killian admits his limits and weak magic after years without spirit word use. Killian mocks himself gently while showing cautious resolve to Hans. They continue walking, lightening the mood with talk of boredom and old stories. Hans begins an old tale from before he met Killian's mother, Cecil. Killian questions Hans about the old woman's story, intrigued by the meaning. The forest scenery opens as they near the Reuben estate, signs of ruin visible. Hans senses people at the estate and decides to investigate despite Killian's protest. They find dozens Thousands of estate residents gathered, speaking anxiously about the goblin attack. Residents discuss dead goblins, shocked by the recent violent attack on their home. Xian announces himself as the new Lord of Ruben, startling local residents. The leader reacts coldly, calling Xian a useless bastard of the Elander family. Residents doubt Xian's power, fearing the goblin army scouts will summon the main force. The leader dismisses the fight, saying they are not true residents anymore and will not resist. Xian questions their abandonment of Ruben. The land is now a shattered ruin, unworthy as home. Hans wants to force the residents to stay. Xian refuses, doubting his right to compel them. Xian doubts forcing them is right, recalling the painful oppression he endured from his family. Hans suggests running away from Ruben. Xian knows fleeing means death from family orders. No family would accept Xian if he fled. Elander's power brands him a target everywhere. Hans insists Xian isn't a worthless drunk. The label is undeserved and unfair. Xian recalls family insults branding him incompetent. He accepts harsh reality with resignation. Xian admits he has no plan to stop the massive goblin attack alone in Broken Ruben. Ruben is devastated with no defenses, making goblin victory almost certain without help. Running away would change nothing. Xian must fulfill his duty as Lord despite the risk. Notification sounds, revealing the territory management system on Xian's smartphone. The system shows Ruben from above, offering construction of facilities to defend the territory. The recommended sturdy wooden fence promises strong defense, forged by expert craftsmen. Xian contemplates the advice to spend money if stuck, puzzled by the sudden quest prompt. Xian checks a costly palisade option, unsure if it's worth the price. Xian debates the high cost, comparing it to Empire living expenses. He decides he has enough gold and considers buying the palisade. The palisade resembles a wooden fortress with attack features included. Xian asks Hans to bring the territory residents for a serious talk. Hans hesitates, doubting the fight can have any chance of success. Xian shows his fighting spirit, his eyes shining with determination. Xian purchases the palisade, instantly spending most of his gold coins. Magic light bursts forth as the palisade starts building itself automatically. A notification shows the palisade will take 3 days to complete construction. 3 days is too long. Goblins are arriving tomorrow. Time is urgent. New ticket for instant completion offers a costly but fast solution. Grayson, the skilled hunter and deity of Ruben, doubts Xian's leadership. Hans delivers Xian's summons. Grayson rebuffs, seeing him as a noble fool. Hans warns that conversation is no coercion, sincerity in his eyes. Grayson doubts nobles. Hans' sincerity prompts him to accept the meeting. Grayson approaches Xian's location with low hope for real change or aid. He stops abruptly, shocked by the huge palisade now surrounding the territory. Hans looks equally shocked, neither expected to see such fortifications. Xian welcomes Grayson and Hans, standing confidently behind the palisade. Xian approaches, triggering shock in Hans and Grayson over a strange artifact. Xian questions the palisade's strength. Grayson inspects and doubts its power. Grayson doubts Xian and Elander. Distrust fills the air despite the palisade's strength. Xian challenges Grayson on running. Grayson contemplates his inability to fight back. Grayson faces harsh truths. Fighting seems impossible, but hope rises with unity. Goblins march from the dark forest, a massive legion heading toward Ruben territory. Goblins doubt the palisade's sudden strength but charge forward, confident to break it. Suddenly, humans respond, rushing out from behind the palisade to repel goblin attack. Grayson watches battle. Xian commands troops while Hans moves to support key positions. Xian fights fiercely at the front, urging careful use of dwindling arrow supplies. Grayson clenches his sword, feeling hope as Xian rallies the defenders with fiery shouts. Suddenly, a horrifying scream signals the approach of a massive hobgoblin among the enemy. The hobgoblin's powerful blows shake the palisade, breaking part of it and causing panic. Grayson jumps to intercept but is struck down by the hobgoblin, crashing against the palisade. Grayson lies injured outside the palisade, barely holding consciousness amid the goblin attack. Grayson struggles to survive as Xian arrives to block the devastating attack in his place. Grayson gasps in surprise and relief seeing Xian standing defiantly between him and death. Xian stands firm against the goblin horde, shielding Grayson from harm. Hans shouts from the palisade, shocked at Xian's bold stand in enemy lines. Xian commands Hans to hold the line, sacrifice himself for the people's safety. Grayson watches Xian's sacrifice, confusion overtaking his battered mind. Xian reveals his true title, Lord of Ruben, pledging to protect his people. The massive hobgoblin roars and charges at Xian like a raging bull. Xian braces for the attack, aware the fight feels like a doomed gamble. tremble. Suddenly, Grayson fires crossbow bolts to hold the advancing goblins at bay. Xian taunts the hobgoblin, drawing its fury while Grayson keeps goblins at bay. Hobgoblin charges fiercely, Xian braces, eyes locked on his deadly foe. Xian's sword slashes deeply into the hobgoblin's left shoulder, blood spurting. The hobgoblin's repair ability activates, rapidly regenerating its grievous wound. Xian charges fiercely, abandoning finesse to end the fight quickly. Xian swings his sword, but the hobgoblin evades quickly, exposing Xian's flank. The hobgoblin grabs Xian with brutal force, squeezing him like a deadly trap. Despite crushing grip, Xian's S-rank armor prevents the hobgoblin from breaking him. Xian cuts the hobgoblin's fingers, loosening its grip and preparing to escape. Xian pains through the attack and drives his sword into the hobgoblin's eye. Hobgoblin's massive body collapses to the battlefield floor, defeated. Grayson sinks into despair, overwhelmed by the hobgoblin's power on the battlefield. Cyan's sword pierces the hobgoblin, stunning everyone into shocked silence on the field. Cyan declares his resolve to fight all goblins, forcing them into a fearful retreat. Goblin hordes flee completely, leaving the wounded Cyan to collapse in exhaustion. Hans hastens to Cyan's side, alarmed by his severe injuries and fragile state. Hans discovers Cyan's bones are shattered, kept alive only by his S-rank armor's protection. Cyan openly admits to Hans the brutal truth: he truly feels like dying now. Notification from Cyan's device praises his victory and relentless leadership of Ruben. Hans helps Cyan to his feet as he weakly rises, leaning heavily for support. Grayson and the territory residents approach cautiously, showing mixed fear and respect. Grayson questions Cyan's willingness to risk his life, doubting his motives and resolve. After tense silence, Grayson kneels before Cyan, declaring him the rightful lord of Ruben. Cyan receives multiple on-screen notifications affirming his duty and gaining loyal obedience. Hans insists on getting a priest's help to heal Cyan, but options are scarce in Ruben. Grayson reveals a merchant duo who might supply potions, showing flicker of hope. Cyan laments spending all family gold, leaving little for potions or new defenses. Grayson warns Cyan of new threat, a powerful magical beast displacing goblins toward Ruben. Cyan considers buying the intermediate martial arts pack, knowing funds remain limited. Cyan and Hans express disbelief as money runs dangerously low while plans grow urgent. Cyan asks Grayson about selling magical beast carcasses to merchants as income source. Xian faces a severe injury and needs immediate first aid to prevent disaster. Ellie explains she learned her healing skills treating her often injured father alone. Xian praises Ellie's natural skill and suggests a treatment center could profit here. Ellie hesitates with embarrassment as Xian's intense gaze makes her uneasy. Xian suddenly stands, breaking the tension, and Ellie braces herself uncertainly. Xian talks about searching for a mobile game treatment center while walking away. Ellie hesitates, then timidly questions where Xian is going as he moves forward. Xian replies plainly that he must go to earn money, then quickens his pace away. Amelia and Lucas near the dark forest edge, unloading goods for the Ruben territory. Amelia checks her supplies carefully while Lucas offers to carry more of the load. Amelia worries if they can sell all goods given low sales of monster carcasses in Ruben. Despite losses, Amelia resolves she must keep supplying food to Ruben's desperate residents. Lucas admits frustration but respects Amelia's unwavering honesty and determination. They reach Ruben's boundary where the forest thins and prepare to find the hidden residents. Amelia and Lucas witness residents dismantling goblin corpses, puzzled by noblemen's rough work. Ellie rebukes Xian for rough handling of goblin corpses. He insists on learning to save funds. Xian introduces himself as Ruben's lord, surprising Amelia with his worn, noble appearance. Amelia meets Kian, a shabby man claiming to be Ruben's lord. Kian introduces himself and orders Hans to bring goblin corpses. Hans hesitates but prepares to collect the goblin corpses as instructed. Amelia doubts Kian's claim of hunting dangerous hobgoblins. Goblin corpses pile high as residents move them in lines. Amelia and Lucas are stunned by the sheer number of goblin corpses. Kian asks the price for all the goblin and hobgoblin corpses. Amelia estimates high value for the quality and quantity of the corpses. Kian trusts Amelia's honest estimate and entrusts her fully. Amelia worries how she will handle transporting so many corpses without resources. Kian suggests hiring territory residents to carry the corpses for extra cost. Amelia doubts Kian's appearance but recognizes his cunning proposal. Kian laughs heartily after paying large gold sums to Amelia. Larrett informs Isabel Elandauer that Kian has arrived in Ruben. Isabel learns that Kian, the youngest master, has come to Ruben. Isabel reflects on demons in the forest pushing monsters toward Ruben. Isabel orders only minimal monitoring, Kian's death expected soon. Isabel prepares to send gifts to the crown prince for political favor. Xian counts 6,000 gold after war spoils and expenses are settled. He notes income is high but not enough to buy valuable martial arts training. Xian reviews the phone's territory facilities options for building his realm. He sees training camp priced at 4,000 gold, meaning tough investment. Xian checks food supply station, farmland, blacksmith, mine, and/or detection prices. Notifications flood Xian's screen about facilities needed for a thriving territory. Xian angrily throws the smartphone down, overwhelmed by constant pop-ups. Xian calls Hans and Grayson to discuss grinding plans for more gold. Hans expertly dismantles goblin corpses while Grayson watches in surprise. Hans reflects on his mercenary past and skill honed through experience. Hans doubts how well he knows Xian despite long years together. Ellie awkwardly arrives to inform Hans and Grayson that Xian wants them. Hans and Grayson enter to find Xian by a new building, surprised by the change. Xian explains the training camp project and asks Hans to train soldiers. Xian asks Grayson to track the goblin group that escaped the last battle. Hans and Grayson look puzzled but listen carefully as Xian reveals the plan. Xian declares the start of a massive goblin grinding session for gold. Hans and Grayson ask why, and Xian confirms the need for more gold urgently. Xian shows depleted funds after buying training camp and instant completion ticket. Hans pushes Ruben residents beyond limits in intense soldier training camp. Hans acknowledges amazing growth rate of Ruben soldiers under his training. Xian explains the training camp efficiency buffs boosting soldier growth speed. A young soldier named Duras hesitates to question Xian about training hardships. Xian sharply questions Duras on his role during the goblin attack. Duras admits their efforts saved Ruben, not Xian's sword alone. Xian inspires residents, calling them the swords and shields of Ruben. Ellie reports goblin tracks. Xian rallies troops for another hunt. Xian stands alone facing nearly 1,000 goblins in dark dense forest. Goblins roar in rage and confusion seeing Xian unafraid and alone. Xian orders Ruben residents to fix bayonets and prepare for battle formation. Ruben residents yell battle cries, ready to fight the goblin horde fiercely. Goblin warriors hesitate then charge as humans slash and cut through front lines. Xian and Hans lead front lines, cutting down goblins as humans hold formation. Xian offers a day-off prize to motivate soldiers to capture more goblins. Ruben fighters go berserk with renewed vigor, turning hunter into prey. Goblin fear rises as the hunters become the hunted in the forest of darkness. Xian counts gold earned from the grinding, pleased with the hefty reward. Xian plans next steps, holding his sword with sharp gaze at the gold pile. MC purchases special Arnai's martial arts package for 10,000 gold instantly. No flash or light shows after purchase. Martial arts origin remains unknown. MC considers which Arnai's martial arts he actually received. MC recalls 6 legendary Arnais and wonders whose arts he obtained. MC remembers specialized divine support by Muriel and doubts its use. The mobile lord matches martial arts to MC's karma for best fit. MC deduces that Charlot's sword art is likely linked to his territory. MC realizes Charlot's zodiac sword was lost centuries ago in Crisis. MC learns Demon Soul Azura sword is likely Kyle's mysterious sword art. Kyle is a nearly unknown Arnais called the strongest, few records remain. A ghostly silver-haired man appears, demonstrating swordsmanship beyond leagues. MC endures a painful, overwhelming sensation from the sword's tremendous power. Sword style belongs to a realm beyond master and even exceed knights. Only the 6 Arnais reached this legendary exceed realm, no one else since. MC realizes the man might be Kyle, the strongest Arnais, though unsure. The man silently urges MC to follow and learn the sword technique shown. MC starts introduction course of Demon Soul Azura sword with assigned tasks. MC tests sword slashes. Progress increases only with accurate strikes. MC realizes he must perform tens of thousands of precise moves daily to excel. MC debates the impossibility of 100,000 daily moves but commits to trying. Kian recalls his training camp buff may improve efficiency of his efforts. Xian arrives at the training camp, watching soldiers train rigorously. Xian draws his sword and swings as the precise slash count increases slowly. Xian wonders if Kyle acts as his invisible sword instructor boosting skills. Xian notes the training requirement drops from 100,000 to 20,000 strikes spikes due to buffs. Notification pops, growth buff ticket increases training efficiency by 300%. Sion doubts the realism of such magical buff but tries activating by watching an ad. The ad plays with a sales pitch for a bizarre and expensive invincible shield item. The ad drags on endlessly for nearly an hour before the buff is finally granted. The growth buff is applied, exponentially boosting training efficiency for 24 hours. Lucas and Amelia cautiously move through the dense dark forest, alert and watchful. Two goblins fall abruptly. Lucas lightens his sword and checks Amelia's status. Lucas senses something strange nearby, signaling danger despite the goblins' defeat. Amelia points to a carriage as they decide to gather goblin corpses for profit. The monster corpses from their travels are highly valuable trade items for merchants. Suddenly, Sion appears, grim and disappointed to find the goblins already slain. Sion admits defeat and leaves to continue training deeper in the forest. Lucas and Amelia remain stunned, unsure how to interpret Sion's strange behavior. Amelia and Lucas regain senses and head into Reuben after the ordeal. Amelia is shocked by the huge pile of dismantled demon beast corpses in Reuben. Soldiers arrive carrying hundreds of goblin corpses, chatting about weak hunts. Amelia struggles to understand soldiers talk about goblin hunts and training. Soldiers explain their hunt, mentioning their lord chasing goblins alone. A soldier named Dura's worries over missing exemption after failed hunt. Amelia inspects goblin corpses, confirming high quality of merchandise. Amelia finds Sion absent, but hears his voice calling from training grounds. Sion joins soldiers rolling on ground, pushing them hard during drills. Sion explains how healing by Ellie boosts soldiers' rapid skill growth. Hans calls for a break as Amelia arrives. Soldiers rejoice with relief. Sion looks like a rough street thug, patting dirt off his clothes awkwardly. Amelia asks why Sion trains with soldiers. He claims the buff needs others. Amelia hesitates but asks if training with soldiers feels vulgar to him. Sion sharply calls Soldier Duras, questioning his identity and loyalty. Duras proudly declares himself the sword and shield protecting Reuben's foundation. Sion states emphatically that no one in Reuben is vulgar and departs. Amelia stands stunned, feeling a strange emotion and hope for Reuben's future. Alone now, Sion vigorously swings his sword with focused intensity. Sion collapses exhausted after completing 3,000 precise sword strikes. Progress notification appears on Sion's smartphone for his sword initiation. Sion contemplates the slow progress and long road ahead for his skill mastery. Sion reflects on goblins drying up and orc movements becoming suspicious. Amelia's voice breaks the silence as she finds Sion alone once more at training. Amelia approaches Kian with a serious proposal after a tense silence between them. Kian asks Amelia what's wrong with a cold voice, recalling her earlier strange behavior. Amelia nervously reveals she has a request, breaking the silence with a tense smile. Amelia offers to waive all trading fees and give Kian all sales profits in Reuben. Kian struggles to believe Amelia's crazy offer, doubting her sanity and motives. Amelia explains there's a condition. She asks to be accepted as a resident of Reuben. Kian blurs out disbelief but notices Amelia's sincere, nervous demeanor. Amelia reveals her heritage and tragic past linked to the fallen Brahe Merchant Guild. Amelia shares the betrayal that destroyed her family and the Brahe Guild's fortunes. Amelia admits her hopes now rest on Kian as she offers her loyalty and trust. Surprised yet amused, Kian accepts Amelia's trust and offers his hand in greeting. Amelia introduces herself formally as they begin their new partnership in Reuben. Amelia shares her vision that monster trading is Reuben's key to economic growth. Kian agrees awkwardly to speak informally as Amelia requests a closer relationship. Amelia reveals the margin of profit selling goblin corpses from the Forest of Darkness. Amelia outlines challenges of infrastructure and opportunities for Reuben's growth. Kian confirms he can solve infrastructure issues, impressing Amelia with confidence. Grayson urgently approaches Kian, trying to relay important news without alarming Amelia. Ellie struggles to speak, revealing she found a mysterious mana stone near orc activity. Amelia gasps softly, recognizing the strange magic of the mana stone immediately. Amelia recognizes the mysterious black stone as a rare, powerful mana stone. Amelia explains mana stones hold mana of different types and vary in color and power. The black stone contains dark mana known as magi, fueling dangerous magical beasts. Grayson reveals an orc village of thousands lives near the mana stone vein in Reuben. C processes the threat of 3,000 orcs near Reuben, a serious danger. Amelia explains magi mana stones have less commercial value despite their power. Sion receives a quest notification about about repelling the orc settlement near Reuben. MC reflects on the quest's reward, the laboratory of the legendary mage Elodie. He recalls Mage Elodie's legendary mastery, especially over dark magic and black mana. Though Elodie is long gone, her knowledge might still be in the artifact smartphone. MC prepares to act, acknowledging the quest demands a preemptive strike on orcs. He explores estate facilities but finds no tool capable of uprooting the orc settlement. As dusk falls, a new daily quest appears. MC plans to watch a growth buff ad soon. MC optimistically clicks to watch an ad for a growth buff, hoping to gain advantage. Unexpectedly, the ad plays shocking offensive dialogue, confusing MC completely. The ad showcases a terrifying firepower weapon, the Sinjijin, amid explosive visuals. The curious MC wonders about this strange ad while the landscape outside darkens. MC laughs bitterly at the absurdity of Arnai's leftovers even as threats loom ahead. Kian watches ads to activate a buff, pondering the strange Sinjijin weapon. He wonders how Sinjijin's extreme firepower is possible unlike known weapons. He counts his gold, deciding the 20,000 cost for Sinjijin is affordable. Kian hesitates briefly but confirms buying the Sinjijin without doubt. Lucas doubts Amelia's choice to become Reuben's merchant and territory resident. Amelia insists the time to stop wandering is now despite Lucas's worries. Lucas recalls Amelia's father's final regrets about power and influence. Amelia's belief in Kian grows despite Lucas's doubts about the attack plan. Lucas admits the soldiers' elite training but warns orcs greatly outnumber them. He suggests waiting for an orc attack to use the strong wooden fences defensively. Amelia defends Kian's obsession with money as care for the territory's safety. He recalls Kian's self-sacrifice to protect his territory from threats. Lucas remains silent but vows to protect Amelia despite deep misgivings. Kian confirms all supplies are packed and soldiers are ready at the territory front. He examines the mana stones, knowing their magical power fuels the Sinjijin's fire. Kian notices expert knight Lucas, but Lucas looks away to avoid confrontation. Kian commands the soldiers to stop and reveals the orc horde just beyond the bushes. Soldiers drag the Sinjijin cart and begin loading its numerous firing holes. Kian inserts the glowing mana stones and triggers a massive magical explosion. Arrows ignite and fly in a fiery barrage, devastating the distant orc village. The forest shudders and dust clouds rise from the explosion, hiding the destruction. After the dust clears, all witnesses stare in stunned silence at the wasteland left. Questions rise in silence, and all eyes fix on Kian, seeking answers for the destruction. Lucas watches the forest devastation with disbelief in his eyes. Thousands of orcs react with panic and fury to the village's destruction. Kian controls the Sinjijin launcher, triggering a massive fiery volley. Sinjijin volley devastates the orc charging horde with fiery explosions. Lucas senses an immense power emerging. He closes his eyes and focuses. A massive black orc emerges, towering and terrifying beyond reason. Cyan orders rapid reloads and unleashes volley after volley on the monster. Lucas bursts through dust, sword glowing blue, ready to face the fierce orc. The black orc blocks Lucas's aura, empowered strike with a weapon glowing black. Lucas notes the mana stone embedded in the orc's chest powering its aura, like force. The orc roars fiercely, regenerating swiftly with a black mist of madness. Surrounded by orcs, Lucas fights desperately to hold his ground. The black orc charges toward the Sinjijin, threatening Reuben's camp. Soldiers form a wall to block the orc, steeling themselves against fear. Lucas orders retreat, knowing he cannot face the monster alone. Cyan faces the black orc, aware the monster's power exceeds all foes. Cyan's swordplay flows like water in a perfect display of skill and power. The black orc collapses, struck down by Cyan's Demon Soul Azura sword. Lucas freezes, astonished as Sion's sword dances effortlessly. Sion fights the black orc with unbelievable swordsmanship beyond Lucas' skill. Lucas can't understand the sword technique Sion wields, a perfect strike. Sion channels unknown force. Lucas suspects a family secret technique. Lucas realizes Sion's technique differs from known family secrets in skill. The black orc collapses. Battle ends swiftly as Lucas slaughters stragglers. Sion slumps down, his body aching from wounds suffered in the fight. Sion spots the magical mana stone embedded in the black orc's chest. Sion notes his sword emits aura, like power despite his inability to wield aura. Sion's sword progress jumps greatly, signaling rapid mystical growth. Hans and Amelia rush to Sion asking if he is hurt after the battle. Sion reassures them that his injuries are manageable compared to before. Lucas appears covered in blood, eyes fixed on Sion with deep emotion. Lucas bows deep deeply, apologizing silently while Sion and Amelia look on. Sion appoints Lucas to train soldiers, surprising Hans and Amelia. Lucas worries about leaving Amelia alone but trusts Sion's promise. Lucas accepts his new role, feeling trust in Sion's care for Amelia. Hans leads Lucas away to meet the soldiers, leaving Amelia and Sion alone. Sion awkwardly tells Amelia he wants to ask about the black orc's value. Amelia estimates black orc's price high and regular orcs moderately valuable. Sion trembles, dramatically imagining how much gold the orcs will bring. Sion cuts his trembling and summons Mobile Lord to claim his quest reward. New facilities unlock. Elodie's laboratory appears, promising fast research. Sion checks his gold, finding he has none, while Amelia watches puzzled. Sion urges Amelia to sell orc corpses quickly to afford new facilities. Amelia sells orc corpses swiftly for a high price, earning gold fast. Sion mourns lost profit as orc corpses shattered by Sinjijin artillery. Without Sinjijin, the orc village might have survived to threaten the people. Sion counts salvaged gold close to 73,000 after loss from firepower damage. Sion weighs the lost gold as worth the lives of territory residents. Sion marvels at the massive mana stone extracted from the black orc's remains. Sion imagines the fortune possible selling thousands of these rare mana stones. Sion hesitates buying Elodie's lab despite its costly 50,000 gold purchase price. Sion watches the new lab build with gold disappearing from his purse instantly. Lab building takes 60 days, frustrating Sion to have to wait so long. Sion refuses a pricey instant completion ticket, choosing to wait patiently instead. Sion receives an unexpected window allowing browsing of Elodie's knowledge early. Sion pores over countless magical records, overwhelmed by the endless scroll. Sion finds time-stop magic knowledge hidden behind lab level 5 restriction. Sion uses search tool, excited to find knowledge on dark mana's truth. Sion reads dark mana's dangerous nature and the risk it poses to minds. Sion learns demons wield dark mana without madness, a mysterious contradiction. Sion's brows furrow as Elodie's text references the Mahansura sword technique. Sion connects the sword skill to dark mana use, deepening his resolve to master it. Sion reads Elodie's message on Kyle's power and the nature of dark mana. Sion focuses as he reads details about Kyle's dark mana and swordsmanship. Sion contemplates Kyle's words questioning the nature of dark and light mana. Sion reads Elodie's reflections on the corruption of light mana users. Sion absorbs Kyle's teaching that demonic energy is a natural attribute, not evil. Sion reviews Elodie's advanced method for refining demonic energy. Sion hesitates but resolves to attempt the difficult Demon Soul Azura sword technique. Sion channels demonic energy from a large mana stone, feeling dark power surge. Mana stone transforms as Sion refines its demonic energy into blue light. Sion senses a new explosive aura of power inside his body after refining energy. Sion's progress on mastering Demon Soul Azura sword increases with a hopeful sound. Amelia reacts with shock as Sion presents her refined blue mana stones. Sion explains the rarity and difficulty of refining demonic energy to Amelia. Amelia nervously ponders how best to sell the precious refined mana stones. Amelia offers a confident proposal to sell the stones for 3 times the price. Camera shifts to the bustling auction house in the heart of the Empire's capital. Noble bidders react as the highest grade mana stones are unveiled for auction. Isabel confidently bids 20,000 gold per stone, stunning all nobles present. The auctioneer announces Isabel's winning bid, closing the deal at 100,000 gold.